And a good Thursday evening, everyone, from Laird Q. Kagan Stadium on the campus of Stanford University. We have Stanford men's soccer for you here on Pac-12 Insider. The Stanford Cardinal at 2-3-1 on the season, hosting the UC Irvine Anteaters at 2-5-1. Great to have you with us. Troy Clarity, Tim Swartz alongside on an absurdly pleasant evening here on the farm. And Tim, Stanford has hit a bit of a rough patch, it seems. Over the last few matches, have not scored in their last three. Their last goal they scored was against UC Santa Barbara. That was back on September the 6th. But since then, a scoreless draw to San Jose State, a 2-0 loss at UCLA, and then a shocking overtime loss at San Diego State. Stanford with an inability to put the ball in the back of the net, and they've also given up a couple of softies. Not the best combination for great success, especially this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Jeremy Gunn, he was talking about it after the last couple of matches, that he thinks the team has played well. Stanford has
November 20, 1982.
Stanford at Cal.
It's the big game.
Great catch!
A game that will forever known as the play.
Oh, the band is out on the field!
The craziest big game ever.
Awesome. That play may be talked about for some time.
One of the most incredible games of all time.
We're seeing some outstanding play.
His knee was down.
The most amazing, sensational finish in the history of college football.
Neil Gilbert at quarterback. John Tuggle, the fourth leading rusher in the history of California football. Wes Howell, the basketball player. He could be a factor. Looking to throw. Over the middle for the big tight end, and he has it in front of Wimmer, and he pops free for more. And it is Hutchings with a shot at him at the 25, inside the 25-yard line. David Lewis, the big tight end.
Look at the speed on this big man. 6'6", big man running with a football.
California trying to get on the scoreboard first. It's partially blocked, and no good. John Elway at quarterback, needing only 32 yards to become the passing yardage leader, single season in Stanford history over Steve Dills. And he goes right to work over the air. In the middle, it is to Chris Russell, the tight end. The first quarter is history in this 85th big game. No score, Stanford and Cal. Elway spread out. Cooper blocking for him, doesn't do it very well, and Elway is bounced at the 2-yard line by Greg Beagle. Cal with its best field position. The 44, Vaughn Williams on a blitz. A familiar sight. Boy, he was flying through the air.
He looked, flying is the word. He looked like Superman. Look at him up in the air. Tremendous effort.
Fourth down, they're going to go for it, and 3. Gilbert. Over the middle, has his man. It is Wes Howell at the 20-yard line. First down, California. The gamble has paid off. Hutchings with the tackle. 31 yards. He's now 9 of 20 on the season. But he's good on that one. And finally, we have a score in this big game with 3:26 left in the first half of play. California has surfaced. 3rd and 12 now for Stanford. Steps up. Going to have to run with it. And, was scissored by Stikowski and Richard Rogers. Good effort that time. Elway was a step away from breaking it for more yardage. Gilbert wants to put it up. Throws for Marrette Ford. Fine grab by the Bears' senior wide receiver. 2:50 remaining in the half. A touchdown would really help things for the Bears as they go into the locker room. This is for Ford. Oh, great catch. They say he got it. We can't tell. That official couldn't tell. He had no view whatsoever. But that play may be talked about for some time in the annals of big game history. It has been all California in the first half, and Paul Wiggin and staff and players have some talking to do. Rich Dixon crashing in, almost got a hand on it. Good kick that time by Harden. Ford takes it at his 20. Barris, he gets by him. Oh, and Rich Dixon lowered the boom. Stanford. Gilbert for Ford. He's got it. Marrette Ford and Kevin Baird having quite a battle this afternoon, and Marrette Ford is winning it.
This is just tremendous concentration on the part of Ford. A great pass by Gilbert. And there's the result, a big play for Cal, and they're in scoring position again.
Line drive, it waffles and it does not go in. It is wide and low. And the Stanford defense plays tough. They shut down the Bears. See what the Bears do here. They send anybody. They got 5 men up front. They send them all. Here comes Jimmy Stewart on a blitz. Elway gets it off to White. He is at the 10. Watch him. He's tough there. He gets inside the 5 to the 3.
White slips out of the backfield. There's no one out there to cover him. And White, you can see how elusive he is as a ball carrier. Takes it down to the 3-yard line. Stanford needs a touchdown.
At the 3, Elway drops back to rush on. Here it is to White. Touchdown, Stanford.
Blitz from the top side. John sees it. Vince is told if you see a blitz, release, because there's no one out there to take you. He beats both inside linebackers into the end zone. Touchdown, Stanford, and a shift in momentum.
Straight back, hits Tolliver, and John Elway has it heated up.
He is really snapping the ball off.
2nd and 8. California crowd trying to exhort the defense as they had a blitz on. Gets it off to White. He can't be pulled down by Beagle, and White's going to score on a great block by Mike Tolliver. Tolliver's block set up the touchdown. Yeah, it's getting exciting. A good football game. Both teams playing some tough football. Here comes Williams on a blitz, and they catch him this time as Story picks it off, and he's going to go inside the 15 to the 11-yard line. Vaughn Williams was caught blitzing. Simple as that. He's sacked.
Who else? Number 80, Garen Veras.
The leader of the sack pack for the Stanford Cardinals, his 10th sack of the season, Garen Veras. 3rd and 12 for California. They need a touchdown to go out in front to Howell, batted away. Nice effort by Rod Gilmore. There is a flag down at the 8-yard line. 10 of 22 in the season from 35. Cooper's got it. See if Stanford gambles defensively a little more like they were. The tight end, it's David Lewis. He runs through 2 tackles, and he's going to get a lot more. Baird gets him at the 22-yard line. David Lewis just did that on size alone. 1st and 20 for California. Fakes the draw. Gilbert throwing long. It's Howell. Howell against Gilmore. He's got an unbelievable catch. Wesley Howell. Touchdown, Cal. Oh, my goodness.
What a grab. We're almost going to look at an instant replay of the ball caught earlier by Marrette Ford. This one's going to be by Howell.
32 yards. A remarkable catch. An effort to go up by 7. California going for it. Gilbert is pressured by Veras and knocked away by Hutchings. Intended for Lewis. Good play by Charles Hutchings. Here is Vincent White. White gets it on the ground, and he's got an opening, and White's going to make a big run out of this one. Forced out of bounds at 28. There is a flag, though. Indications are offside California. The run will stand. Elway throwing long for Tolliver. He's there, and he's down at the 10. 1st down, Stanford. John Sullivan. Oh, that was an excellent effort that time by Elway. Send a bunch. Elway, the corner for Harry. He can't hang on. A great effort by Sullivan on Emil Harry. And we may be down to one last play. Harmon connects.
And we are just underway at Kagan Stadium. Great to have you with us for Stanford men's soccer versus UC Irvine. Troy Clarity and Tim Swartz, as we have just played 1 minute of ball. Our apologies. Seems somewhat fitting that when we were talking about Stanford not being able to find a scoring punch, that we lost power to our broadcast booth. But thanks to the efforts of our crew, we are back at it, and certainly glad that you hung around with us and are with us as we begin this critical non-conference match for both of these teams. UC Irvine at 2-5-1 on the season. They have won 2 of their last 3 and have found a bit of a scoring touch that Stanford has lacked throughout the last couple of weeks. So meanwhile, Stanford 2-3-1 on the season and coming off of taking a couple bumps to the head last week down in Southern California.
Yeah, before the power was pulled from us, I was talking about, Jeremy Gunn said that he thinks this team has played well, and Stanford has outshot every team that they have faced so far. They've just had some unlucky moments.
He's looking for more quality moments and more critical moments on either side of the pitch. Got to find one extra moment at each end. Stanford unable to score, and also they've given up a couple of soft goals over the past few weeks as well. That has been one reason why Stanford is in a position right now that is somewhat unusual, unranked for the first time since the 2018 season. Dropping matches to UCLA. That had not happened since 2013. And their loss at San Diego State was the first since 2011. And there are 2 stern tests for the Cardinal coming up this week. Not just with St. Mary's coming down to the farm on Monday, but of course right here between Stanford and UC Irvine. In this series, Stanford leads it convincingly 10-1, but that one loss was on November 23rd, 2014 in the second round of the NCAA tournament, a 1-0 loss in overtime. Michael Sperber putting it through for the Anteaters in the 7th minute and not knocking the Cardinal out that season.
That was a big shocker, and at the core of that Stanford team won the national championship for the next 3 years. Jordan Morris was the star of that 2014 team.
Carlo Agostinelli getting the start, appearing in the starting 11 for the Cardinal. That one bounces towards Will Richmond, trying to get a handle on it. Out of bounds. Who's it off of? UC Irvine. Stanford to throw it in. Cardinal across the back to start. Matt Frank in goal. Andrew Abrahamian. Keegan Tingey, Keegan Hughes, and Noah Adnan. In the midfield, Mark Fisher, Will Richmond, and Cam Silly. And up front, Oseni Buddha, Zach Ryan, and Carlo Agostinelli. His first start for the Cardinal this season. Buddha banking up to take this free kick. On a gorgeous night here on the farm. Picture perfect. Head towards the front post. The shot, and it goes through for the score. Off the save from Pruder, but it's put right back by Andrew Abrahamian. His second goal of the year. The first goal in 2 weeks for the Cardinal. Stanford goes up 1-0.
Yes, September 6th, as you mentioned. I mean, who's counting? But it has been one of those things where for the Cardinal, they have dominated matches. They have outshot opponents pretty significantly, and they still haven't scored. And then a little flick-on header and right place, right time for Abrahamian. That was a great ball put in by Buddha. Low, hard, and just poor defending by UC Irvine.
The first goal in 356 minutes for the Cardinal. The squad is able to break that streak and take an early 1-0 lead. And we mentioned Stanford has unfortunately had a propensity to give up soft goals over the past few weeks, and I was talking to Jeremy Gunn about this week, and he said, look, when you give up soft goals, that changes everything. The other team gets up a goal and box you out, and they can pretty much dictate from there. Abrahamian sends it back. Sized up. Agostinelli playing it back to Adnan.
Abrahamian, second career goal in 51st start.
First career goal coming earlier this year at Pacific, back on September the 2nd. I was about to give you UC Irvine's starting 11, but then I was rather rudely interrupted by Stanford's goal. Get that to you here as we go, as the Cardinal looking to keep the pedal to the metal here. As Abrahamian pushes it forward, skips off from Zach Ryan, but no one quite there to elect for the Cardinal. Hiked towards Francesco Montanil, a freshman getting his 5th start of the year from Phoenix for UC Irvine. The Anteaters starting 11. Across the back, Matthias Venum, Ricardo Ibarra, Michael Orozco, and Josh Kenworthy. In the midfield, Beto Alvarenga, Ashish Chada, and Francesco Montanil. Up front, Corbeno Boateng, Lawrence Yamaguchi, and Ryan Cato. Anteaters have scored 10 goals over the last 3 matches. They scored just 1 in their first 5. Agostinelli, quickness, puts it right on frame to Pruder.
That's the one change in the Cardinal lineup. Carlo coming in for Gabe Siegel. Bunch of changes for UC Irvine's lineup, but that is one change for Stanford. And Carlo's been involved early on.
Yeah, Agostinelli with a little shimmy shake to help lose the defender and get himself some space. And he's not afraid to take guys on one-on-one. Gunn said when you're looking to find some sharpness in your attack, you try to go to plan B, plan C, and plan D, looking for solutions to try to unlock the back of the net. Here's Silly. Towards the touchline, stops, serves it up, shot off the crossbar. Zach Ryan with the howitzer towards the crossbar. That was wonderfully played. Cardinal trying to keep it alive. Buda fights and one hops it to Pruder.
Well, early on, Irvine's just not putting a lot of pressure on the ball in the midfield. Silly, before that run, he had tons of time on the ball in the midfield. And he's too good of a player to just let him kind of dictate right in the middle of the park.
Yeah, it's a good idea to give Oseni Buda as much space and time as he needs, but Ryan with a fantastic decision. Just take a quick shot at it, and it almost worked. That would have been a fantastic goal. Ryan carrying an injury the last couple of weeks, probably still not 100%, but did return for the Cardinal lineup last week. Ryan, the 5th-year senior from Chatham, New Jersey, Pac-12 Player of the Year for the 2020 season. And one of the main engines of the Cardinal attack. Out of bounds, UC Irvine to throw it in. Michael Orozco accepting the honors, the junior from La Crescenta, California. UC Irvine out of the Big West, which did not compete in the 2020 season. Rolled in the direction of Yamaguchi, but instead sent back. Richmond trying to get some separation. Give and go. A bit too hard. Venum able to break that up. Stanford and UC Irvine met here in this stadium in the 2018 NCAA tournament. Victory for the Cardinal that evening. Anteaters led by Yossi Raz, 4th season as the head coach. Shown recruiting prowess, landing among the top-ranked recruit classes a couple years ago. A few of those guys have already gone on to the pros. A couple are still on the roster right now. Trying to turn. Whistle Silly from behind on Chada.
Got a lot of MLS Youth Academy products, both sides. A lot of talent on this UC Irvine team.
Mm-hmm. Adnan gets whistle. Anteaters picked to finish third in the Big West preseason poll. UC Santa Barbara and UC Davis tied for first. Montanil on a sprint. Double marked. Wins that battle. Chata. Blocked. Mark Fisher putting a boot on that one.
Stanford plays flat 4-4-2. A lot of responsibility for Fisher and Silly in the middle.
Switching field in the corner. Orozco. One-on-one with Agostinelli. Who's it off of?
Agostinelli never touched it. He gave him a, come on, get up. And maybe a little bit of a dive there. Orozco.
Matt Frank in goal for the Cardinal. Redshirt junior from Bloomfield, Michigan. He's no stranger to facing up against the Anteaters. As in 2019, Frank made 3 saves, got the start. Switching field, Agostinelli couldn't get a piece of it. Montanil weaving. And Abrahamian puts a stop to that. In Zach Ryan's direction, bit off target. Venum. Some youngsters helping to keep the pace for the Anteaters back line. Urbana Boateng, a sophomore. Matthias Venum, a freshman from Norway. And Josh Kenworthy, a freshman from San Diego. Luke Bruder, a freshman from Redondo Beach. Richmond, waiting, slithering, shooting, punched away by Pruder. Now at Buda's foot. Will he return fire? He does, and it's right on frame.
I think that shot from Richmond was knuckling on Pruder, and Pruder never really got a good look on it. And smart and safe, punch it out of harm's way.
Pruder's second start of the season, his 4th match played, as he got the start at the University of San Diego. Played the final 24 minutes for the Anteaters against UNLV on Sunday, and things were looking pretty good as the Anteaters were up 2-0. But then UNLV scored 3 times in the final 20 minutes. Pruder allowing all of those goals, including the game winner with 20 seconds left. Venum clears it with his head. Dancing. Now Abrahamian, the Cardinal goal scorer. That's shut down by the Anteaters.
Stanford's certainly been in control so far.
Ryan on ahead. Can't quite find Sill. Ball's back to Fisher. Abrahamian waiting. Gets it back. Ball movement by Cardinal. Agostinelli. What's he going to do? Look for Fisher. Sends it bending towards the penalty spot. Put the flag up here on the near side. Luke Pruder with dual U.S. and Irish citizenship.
Right behind him is the scoreboard, and had to do a double take.
As Fisher intercepts, tries the cross, broken up instead by UCI.
The scoreboard shows 10-0 in terms of shots, and I think that's right. Stanford's been dangerous. They've forced a couple of Pruder saves, and they hit the crossbar as well.
Yeah, Pruder, as of right now, officially being credited with 5 saves at this point. We're coming up on 15 minutes of ball. In the corner, trying to settle. Will Richmond working out of bounds, and I believe this is going to be a corner.
Yeah, before, I think it's the throw, and before, I think it was Ibarra could kind of try to play it up the line. When he kicked the ball, it was out of play.
So a throw in for Stanford. Egan Tingey accepting the honors. Bruder sets up a teammate, finds Zach Ryan, slides it forward. Pruder off his line, kicks it away. Well set up by the Cardinal. Did not quite get the finish. That's kind of what it's like more often than not for Stanford the last few weeks. Not so far today as they put one through. Yamaguchi trying to get it back for UCI. Instead it's Fisher, who's already been all over the field in this match. Able to break that one up.
Fisher, pretty much his whole family, cross-country runners, so he decided to keep it, just run around a bunch, but this time with a ball instead of just on a trail.
Yeah, I could never just do straight running. Give me a ball. I need something else to occupy my time. How about the handles from Buddha? Silly distributes. As the Cardinals switch field. The roller doesn't get through the wall. It was aimed in Zach Ryan's direction, but I believe it was Boateng who got a piece of it. Adnan, that might have hit his hand.
That's a smart little handball from Adnan. Just kind of, oh, oops, I didn't mean to do that, and break up the counterattack.
See Irvine trying to build. Yeah, straight running, no, not for me. It's like when I'm on the exercise bike. I need to have my earphones in as well. That rolls back to Pruder. One time at the gym, my earbuds went kaput. I got off the bike, went straight home, called it a night. Couldn't do it.
I said, sorry, what's a gym? Certainly somewhere I haven't been in a while. How about these uniforms from UC Irvine? Pinstriped. I don't think,
yeah.
I can't, I was trying to think of pinstriped soccer uniforms. I can't think of any.
None that are coming to my mind immediately.
I got something pretty out there for you. 2007, the United States was a guest team at Copa America, and they wore these like royal blue pinstripe uniforms. I remember those, and that was the only time they wore them.
Huh.
2007 Copa America.
Did they win?
They did not. I don't think
Okay.
they won. I don't think they got a point in that Copa America.
Looking for options, Cadu finds Montanil. Agostinelli sprinting back. Montanil gets some space, slides it to Cadu. Shot off the crossbar! Cadu gave it a ride from long distance and almost got rewarded for his shot.
Wow, that was a fantastic, well-placed ball. Frank had no chance, and that was dipping, and we had a great look at it. That almost went in. Cadu, who was born in Canada, played a lot for Guyana before the Gold Cup, played in some friendlies for that small country.
Two-time All-Conference, transfer from University of Missouri at Kansas City. Two-time All-Conference in different leagues. In the WAC in 2019 and in the Summit League last year. So he was able to compete last year, while most of the rest of his now current teammates with UC Irvine were not. And that ball seemed to float for like 5 minutes in the air. Agostinelli called for the foul. He's not too thrilled.
Agostinelli has got to be careful with Montanil. It's 2 times now Montanil's been almost in the penalty area, very close, or he's gone to the ground. He's gone to the ground pretty easy, but you do have to be careful.
Won back by the Cardinal. But intercepted, stepping in out of nowhere. Stanford hanging in there and get back. crossing. Bending beyond Agostinelli as he gives chase. Off his foot. UC Irvine to throw it in. A brief respite from Pac-12 play after the Cardinal met Pac-12 foes UCLA and San Diego State last year. Could not get the result in either match. UC Irvine tonight, St. Mary's on Monday, then back to Pac-12 play after that. Ryan. They couldn't connect. Cadu giving chase. Switching out to Orozco. Back to Kenworthy. Out to the far side. Can't quite shake Richmond, so hands it off to a teammate. And you might have heard the contact there. Fisher having a chat with the referee as Chata went down in a heap. Too hard off of Kenworthy's foot, but he's able to hang on to it. Eventually get it back. Chata shows for it. And now back to Alvarenga, who takes it over the park. Beto Alvarenga, a junior from Canoga Park, California. His first ever collegiate start came right here in this park 2 years ago against the Cardinals.
Got to look at Matt Frank. Huge shoes to fill. Andrew Thomas, one of the best goalkeepers in Stanford history. Played a little bit USL Championship this year. Now, pretty of Seattle Sounders.
Off Yamaguchi? Nope. Old UC Irvine ball.
Started, Andrew has 7 matches with Tacoma Defiance. USL Championship, the farm team, Seattle Sounders. And the handball on Ryan. This is kind of in a funky spot.
Mm-hmm. And Gunn says that Matt Frank has played well for the most part, may have had a lapse against UCLA, but has risen to the challenge. Has actually had a couple of saves come back at him and get put in for goals. That hasn't helped his cause, but Jeremy Gunn pleased overall with what Frank has been able to do since taking over the keeping duties in the second match of the year. Places everyone. And action. Spinning front post. Abrahamian, well done, shielding off Yamaguchi and sending it out of bounds.
Yeah, really well done. And that was a situation where UC Irvine thought they might be able to get a corner. And Abrahamian, the goal scorer, talking about Frank giving up goals or he had to save. So Ruder, the goalkeeper for UC Irvine, had the original save on a Thon header in the 5th minute. But it was the Cardinal right back, Abrahamian, who was able to put in the goal at the 5-minute mark.
4:18 into the match, to be exact. UC Irvine throwing it in. Yamaguchi at his foot. Feint, waiting, trying to get away. And skips off of Agostinelli's foot. Stanford fans didn't quite see it that way. I saw it the linesman's way, so I at least agree with you.
First sub, Oscar Delgado. There he is. Nice little touch here from Oscar. Moreno Valley.
Delgado, a redshirt sophomore. Buda losing his footing. Kept on the ground, but can't find a teammate. Silly tries to turn, but takes it a touch too hard.
I think it took a little bit of time for Irvine to settle into the match. They have. The last few minutes have been their best possession, best moments.
That being said, it's a difference settling in when you're still scoreless. It's settling in when you're already down 1-0 in a sport which can be so fickle and in which the margins can be super short. Stanford knows this on both sides. Of course, more on the positive side over the past few years, certainly, but this year they're kind of getting the other side of the coin. But don't want to be down early. Stanford's been in that position several times this season. UCI is there now. Cardinal would love to add on to it. Waiting, stopping on a dime, and finding Kadu. Survives one slide tackle. Hanging on to it. Lets it go wide left. Ryan Kadu with some moves, weaving through traffic. Giving it a roll.
Hey, one of the challenges for Stanford is kind of figuring out the shape of Irvine. Sometimes they look like they're in a 3-4-3. Sometimes they look like they're in a 3-5-2.
Bounces into the crowd.
They're kind of playing a different style. Stanford, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a 4-4-2. Two center midfielders are flat, and that's just the way it goes. And, yeah, we just heard up here Zach Ryan, we're so stretched. And Stanford has not kept their shape well in the last few minutes. And it's kind of odd formation and odd tactic from Irvine of giving the Cardinal problems.
Figure out a way through it.
Offside. Bill Richmond.
Where was he? Sunnyvale?
Well, Stanford is attacking the south goal. Big weekend here, right in this little general vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
Huge game for Stanford football on
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah. I hear rumors that Stanford football actually plays home game every once in a while.
Got a lot of them coming up.
First one against UCLA this Saturday afternoon. Meanwhile, Will Richmond turning on the speed. Letting it go to a teammate. Let's get a little room. Aimed towards Buddha, but instead taken away. Venum, I believe, was in the area. Cardinal with the reset. Gostinelli turning. Nice ball, but instead headed up at Silly's foot. Didn't quite have enough room to test Pruder, who's already made 6 saves this evening. In the air and off the top netting. UCLA at Stanford in football, a 3 p.m. kickoff at Stanford Stadium. The first game played at Stanford Stadium, football-wise anyway, in 315 days. The first one with fans in 665 days. But who's counting?
Did you count that out day by day?
Me? No. Abrahamian to throw it in. Switching field to Tingy. Cardinal very glad to have Keegan Tingy back in the mix. Missed 3 games, returned at UCLA. Maybe not still 100%, but still getting back into it. Cardinal like seeing him roaming the backfield. Too strong for Agostinelli.
Good idea. Silly's been pulling the strings in the midfield today.
Silly's been busy. Fisher with some moments early on. Agostinelli up and down the pitch. Cardinal to settle it down a bit. With Deegan Hughes. sending it over to the far side. Yamaguchi at full speed. Gets a little separation, but the roller right to Frank and the easy collection. Lawrence Yamaguchi, the senior from Tokyo, Japan. Went to Christian Academy, Japan, did Yamaguchi, and his message to his fellow players back there, to work hard and not slack off. You got to be ready. It's a good message, whether you're talking about soccer or anything else, really. Kadu. And a hip check near midfield.
Speaking of Yamaguchi.
As Silly struggles but gets back up to his feet. And Yamaguchi gets shown the yellow.
Yeah, he was late. He goes over to apologize. Really interesting. I went to Tokyo before the world shut down back in 2019, but I was at a baseball game and a pitcher hit a batter, and the pitcher went over and apologized to the batter at first base. Just something in the sporting culture of Japan.
Yeah. Game played a bit differently over in a lot of different ways as Yamaguchi comes off and Kelvin Neumetzler, redshirt sophomore from Germany, comes on. Neumetzler is actually the leading goal scorer for the Anteaters with 3 so far this year. Had a brace against Dixie State. Substitution for Stanford, Gabe Siegel coming in, replacing Carlo Agostinelli. Siegel, a junior from Bethesda, Maryland. All Pac-12 second team last. Now on this side of the pond, a pitcher hits a batter, and pitcher just kind of glowers at the batter, and if the batter stays or makes a move towards the mound, and then all sorts of things start to happen. Back to the far side. Rushing and taking it back, the Anteaters trying to find a little something. Chata, outside, Delgado. Blocked. Abrahamian. Scoring a goal earlier this match and preventing a goal opportunity for UC Irvine with that sequence. As we're just over 30 minutes in here on the farm, great to have you with us. Troy Clarity, Tim Swartz. Stanford men's soccer on Pac-12 Insider. We will be back on Pac-12 Insider on Monday when St. Mary's comes to town. Substitution for UCI, that's Mario Anaya, redshirt freshman, Bay Area kid, Livermore, California. 4 years in the San Jose Earthquakes Academy. Cleared out by Stanford, UC Irvine will get another crack at it.
Earthquake done a really good job with their academy. A bunch of their academy grads in this match tonight.
Naya with his first touch. Barra had it for a moment. Trying to get past Tingy and does. Chipped away. Fisher. A goal kick for the Cardinal. Ryan with the thigh pass. Boateng. Kenworthy. Neumetzler. Down the sideline. Stanford to throw it in. No shortage of international players on this UC Irvine roster. Neumetzler from Germany. Yamaguchi from Japan. Norway represented. Hong Kong. Canadian. Padu. For the world coming to Irvine. Well represented on this Anteater roster. Delgado looking for options. Doesn't like any of them right now. Aims it in Kadu's direction. Matt Frank with the grab.
I mean, Stanford absolutely dominated the first 15 minutes. Then they had 10 shots in the first 15 minutes. And since then, about 2 shots the last 20 or so minutes of play. A lot of credit to Irvine. They have buckled down.
Errant pass. Boateng. The back flick. Neumetzler tried to cross it to Delgado, but instead it's knocked out by the Cardinal. Chata. Bumped off by Fisher, or by Silly, check that. Richmond far side. Gets it back. Tries to poke it upfield towards Ryan. And they switch field. Abrahamian with some room to operate. Siegel. To Buddha. Hangs on to it. The fancy footwork. Back to Siegel. Left foot and the bounce. No red and black shirts heading towards the goal.
I think Gabe Siegel, he has seen that run from Zach Ryan before and kind of thought he'd get a near post run ball. Only one change for Stanford so far. That is Siegel, who came in for Stanford at the right midfield position.
Phenom finds Delgado. Chata didn't complete the run. Buddha trying to make UC Irvine pay. Kruger off his line, and Ryan offside.
Just a half step too early. And no reaction from the Stanford bench. They know that just timed that just a little off. But that's what Buddha, what makes him a special player. He came back into the midfield, takes the ball away, and then when he gets the ball, has any space, any time, he's looking to go forward.
Buddha originally from Burkina Faso, and the subject of another in a long series of fantastic feature pieces written by David Kiefer, Stanford Sports Information Department. I highly suggest you head to GoStanford.com and check out that piece on Buddha's background, what it took for him to get from Burkina Faso to the farm. It's not an easy road. UC Irvine trying to counter. Perhaps find an equalizer. Chata. Kenworthy has to get on his horse to catch up with this one, and does. And Hughes says, nope, don't think so. But Chata gets it back. Left slide. Out to Delgado. Blocked. Abrahamian. Cardinal have had a number of blocked shots so far in this one, helping to thwart potential UCI opportunities. Substitution for the Cardinal. Leighton Purchase is coming in, sophomore from Denver, Colorado, along with Will Riley, a freshman from Decatur, Georgia, who is now appearing in his 5th match of the season. Purchase in for Ryan. Riley in for Silly. UCI with a couple of substitutions as well, with Axel Adler coming in for Ricardo Ibarra and Rafael Espinoza in for Francesco Montanil. Delgado. And yep, that'll get a whistle. The Stanford student section, known as the Forest. Probably hear them voicing their opinion of that call. I think it was legit. They're just being good fans, right?
Right in front of the Forest for this free kick.
Got to advocate for your squad, and the Forest looks very well populated. It's great to see. Class is starting up this week here on the farm.
Forest was rocking for that women's match you were here for the last week.
No doubt. The whole stadium was rocking. That was a fantastic environment. Delgado and Chada standing over for UCI. Chada, back post, over everyone. Stanford women hosted Santa Clara on Sunday and got the 3-1 win in the Battle of Champions. Santa Clara, the defending national champions on the women's side, while Stanford won 2 of the 3 previous College Cups before Santa Clara claimed the title. It was neat to see. Stanford women beginning their Pac-12 slate tomorrow. They welcome back former associate head coach Hideki Nakata, who is now running the show in Salt Lake City, as the Utah Utes come to the farm tomorrow.
The great guy, Hideki, grew up in Japan, and the goalkeepers coach here at Stanford for so many years. Wish him the best at Utah.
Spinning down, and Riley ends up with it.
What a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, he played advantage for a very long time.
Yep.
Stanford will get the ball back.
The ball brought back to midfield.
Lucas Brooks, the man in the middle tonight.
That was Rafael Espinoza in on the action defensively, probably getting the whistle against Irvine. Just under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Ahead to Buddha. Richmond. Off the chest. Buddha still hangs on to it. Waiting. Slithering, lets loose off of Pruder. Flag as Siegel is offside. You're just waiting whenever Buddha's hanging around the top of the 18. You're just waiting for the moment when he just has a little bit of space to operate. He is too, because when he gets that, not afraid to unleash a laser.
Tremendous close control. Bring that ball down to his chest. Forcing a pretty good save.
Pruder, all that being said, Pruder saw that one the whole way.
Yeah, Pruder has done a fantastic, 13 shots unofficially for Stanford.
7 saves already for Pruder. Back post, but no one quite there. Well, and that's been something that has gone against Stanford the last couple of weeks as well. And talking to Chairman about the whole thing, he says, look, we can complain about penalties, we can complain about hitting the woodwork, we can complain about, the other keeper standing on his head, to steal the hockey term. All those things being said, his gun said, look, we've got to figure out a way to win this one ourselves. Create an extra moment on both ends of the pitch. In fact, Buddha had a couple of rockets last week. That gun called the couple of best shots that he'd seen of this season, but they were both saved. So perhaps an instant replay of what Buddha's week was like last week. Fisher The left foot trying to find Richmond. Boateng there defensively for UCI. Boateng finds a teammate.
That last attack by Stanford, it started because of a great work rate and great job working back by Will Riley.
There's Aiden Weaver, sophomore from Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania, now appearing in his 6th match of the year with less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. Abrahamian, the goal scorer. In the air, back post, not quite.
He might have slipped a little, but got underneath that ball.
Yep.
It was really warm today, and now there's a little bit of moisture in the air.
Seems a little bit on the humid side. And
Yeah.
it does certainly seem still. The flags on the far side of the stadium, or at least the far side to us anyway, are not blowing one bit. It was 73 degrees here at the start. This one, gorgeous fall evening here on the farm. Bruder taking his time. Hughes with the moon shot into the front row on the far side.
1 minute remaining.
And 1 minute left in the first half. Venum lets it go. Yossi Raz, the UCI head coach, says, all right, here's the ball. Let's get going. Weaver was trying to find Purchase. Espinoza coming back on defense. And helps the Anteaters win it back. Bonflaja. Waiting. Finds a mate. Left foot. Bounces wide. And with that, the first half comes to a close. Well, the first 10 minutes of this match were fast and furious for Stanford, unleashing a barrage of shots on the Anteater defense and their keeper, Luke Pruder. One of them found their way through. Andrew Abrahamian off of a rebound from a free kick.
Welcome back here to Stanford, California, and one half in the books on a gorgeous night at Laird Q. Kagan Stadium. Tori Clarity, Tim Swartz with you on Pac-12 Insider as the Cardinal, a 5th-minute goal from their right back, Andrew Abrahamian, has given them a 1-0 lead. Stanford dominated the first 15 or so minutes. It was 10-0 in terms of shots, 5 or 6-0 in terms of shots on target. But Troy, as that first half played out, UC Irvine really settled down.
Yeah, they did. They played tighter on defense, and Stanford maybe not quite as sharp and as tidy in ball movement as they had been at the start of the match. But Stanford will certainly take where they are right now as opposed to where they have been over the last couple of weeks, up 1-0 with that goal from Abrahamian, breaking a 357-minute scoreless streak, one that is stretched back to September the 6th. So a 17-day span between goals. Obviously, maybe not quite as clean as Stanford would have preferred, like the final 30 minutes of the first half or so, but they're still up 1-0. Still in a good spot right now, but they're still facing a dangerous UCI team that has found a bit of a scoring touch with 10 goals in their last 3 matches coming into this one.
Yeah, UC Irvine had a match where they had 5 against Dixie State, a new Division I member out of Utah. Cardinal, they're on the field. Nobody told UC Irvine that halftime was about to end because the Anteaters are scurrying around and they got to hurry up to get this second half started.
Yeah, Yossi Raz might have had a few extra things to say to his fellas and trying to get them ready for a second half, which, look, this promises to be a big-time battle in the next 45 minutes or so, with Stanford trying to get back into the win column, UC Irvine trying to shake off what was a very, very tough loss for them in which they allowed 3 goals in the final 20 minutes, including the game winner with 20 seconds to go against UNLV. So both of these teams with a lot to prove at this point in the season. And they want to make sure that they end up in the win column by the time it's all said and done here tonight.
Both these teams desperate for a victory. Stanford, they have lost their last three matches, as Troy mentioned. They hadn't scored since September 6th. A 2-win over UCSB. And for UC Irvine, they're not used to this, but a 2-5-1 record for the Anteaters, and a heartbreaking loss at UNLV. 3-2. Cardinal will work it right to left in the home hoops, Cardinal and black. The Anteaters, who are certainly taking their time, are in the pinstriped uniforms.
Cardinal coming out with the same 11 that they began the match with Abrahamian, Tingy, Hughes, and Adnan across the back. Fisher, Richmond, and Silly in the midfield. Agostinelli, Buddha, and Ryan up front.
Agostinelli, the one change from the loss that Stanford suffered at San Diego State in double overtime. 4 changes in this UC Irvine lineup. Anteaters, intended target a lot of times out of the halftime break, kind of a set play. Teams will set up. Cardinal in the customary Jeremy Gunn signature 4-4-2. UC Irvine, they've kind of had a type of an amoeba in terms of their tactics. Sometimes it's looked like a 3-4-3, like it looks like right now. Sometimes it's looked like a 3-5-2. I think those changing of tactics have frustrated Stanford. Long throw on for Buddha. Didn't play the 2021 spring season. The Pac-12 Freshman of the Year in 2019, the last fall season that we had. Long throw for Yamaguchi, who's playing on a yellow card. Only booking of the first half. Of course, UC Irvine did not have a spring season. And trying to work themselves back into form in the Big West. Adnan. Keegan Tingy. Excellent left back. Cardinal. Offside. Therefore, the Cardinal to the far sidelines for Carlo.
Adnan and Hughes, the center backs for Stanford. Jeremy Gunn impressed with what Adnan, the sophomore, has been able to contribute in that spot of late.
Gastatelli offside there. Interesting background, born in Paris, grew up in London, and he's had trials with Spurs and PSG, biggest clubs in the world. This ball into space. Into the middle, Yamaguchi's header is wide. Ibada from BCP, Bellarmine College Prep, playing that right wing-back position. Put a nice little ball into the mixer for Yamaguchi.
And that was a nice start to that sequence by Ryan Kadu, who just one-touched it out and found his teammate Ibarra out to the far side to help try to set things up.
Kadu. Born in Canada. Did some friendlies with Guyana, but right before the 2021 Gold Cup. Cardinal. One of their specialties under Jeremy Gunn has been winning those second balls. Abrahamian. For Buddha. And he's called for a foul.
Reach into the pocket. Yep.
And that's the second forward who's been put into Lucas Brooks' book. Buddha, born in Burkina Faso, and World Cup qualifying. Burkina Faso, the big result, a tie with Algeria the last window. Group A in Africa, they're tied at the top with Algeria. Is the favorite in that group. First round of qualifications in continent Africa.
Buddha started the year with a 3-game point streak, but hadn't had any since until today, credited with an assist on Bahamian's goal, along with Zach Ryan.
Yeah, that was a great job by Buddha. The Cardinal were attacking this side of the field, putting a nice, low, hard free kick that was up the head of Ryan, off the goalkeeper. It was a nice save by Bruder, and then Abrahamian was able to slot in the goal in the 5th minute. Stanford had relentless pressure early in this match. They hit the crossbar.
That was close.
That's some confidence from Bruder, who is a Galaxy Academy member, dual citizenship with the United States and Ireland. Ibarra puts it in. Choteau, USF transfer, loses that one.
Yeah, Cam Silly put the swim move on him.
Fisher, out wide, Amian.
Kind of used his arm, kind of took it over Ibarra's head, like Bruce Smith used to do on his pass rush, the old swim move, just to get some leverage and to try to get to that ball.
I had Reggie White on my mind. You went Bruce Smith.
Oh, okay, all right.
A couple of old pass rushing legends. UC Irvine, they have tried to play out of the back. Has not always gone well for the Anteaters. Again, up towards Yamaguchi, him and Hughes are having a tremendous battle.
Yeah, Yamaguchi hasn't had quite as many touches as Yossi Raz would like at this point, but when he has, he's posed some problems for Hart.
Really been, I was mentioning just kind of the different tactics that Irvine has used. Yamaguchi has played the position of his shirt. He's played the 9 at center forward that they have tried to target. Reiner, Legion center back. Ibarra taken away. Tingy, the left back, just behind Buddha. But again, Irvine some trouble playing it out of the back. Cardinal, quick throw. Silly tried to put into the middle. The Cardinals' Hughes sweeps away. A counterattack.
Yamaguchi went to the turf, perhaps tried to draw a call there, but no whistle. We play on.
Keegan Hughes on the ball. He has started all 42 matches since he's come to Stanford. Ryan. Richmond onto his left foot, and it's off the head of keeper Pruder, who came off of his line.
Well, and Pruder played that one very well. The angle was getting tougher and tougher and tougher for Richmond, and I think Pruder knew that and played that quite well. That would have been a heck of a goal if Richmond had been able to get it in, because there would have been a pretty high degree of difficulty just with the angle that Richmond eventually ended up with.
52nd minute of this match in the first corner. Cardinal take it shorts. Buddha. In front and towards the back post. Adnan just could not get there in time.
Richmond was, or check that, Fisher was close too.
Stanford has struggled scoring goals so far this season. Just 8 in 7 after they scored over 30 last year in 14 matches. But it has been a different story. A little bad luck for the Cardinal. A lot of the same characters. Ooh, that was definitely off the arm of Fisher, but they'll say it was played unintentionally. Buddha out wide. Richmond has support from Tingy. Buddha looking to turn, get it on his right foot, and he will win a corner.
Sending that one into the eucalyptus curtain along the way, but in the last couple of minutes, Will Richmond with some heart-stopping moments if you're the UCI defense.
Will, first team All Pac-12 in the spring season, and 5 goals and 6 assists last year. Has a goal and assist this year. Another member of the Earthquakes youth system. I've seen a few, I think, the Earthquake staff members in the crowd tonight.
Yeah.
Checking out some youth products.
Boy, if Fisher been able to get a boot on that one, that could have been trouble for Fruiter.
Silly. Out in front, and a covering header by Boateng. Buda, as the Cardinal keep the pressure on his left foot. Near post save. Fruiter for the 9th time tonight, denying the Cardinal.
Fruiter hanging on for dear life.
Bynum spent a little bit too much time on the ball. Similar to the start of this match, Stanford has absolutely dominated the start of this half. It's still just 1-0. 17 shots for Stanford already. I think that was their season high so far coming into tonight. Again, we mentioned the scoring problems from Stanford. Just 2 wins in the first 6 matches, but they have outshot every team.
Yep.
Fancy footwork from Montanil, but the Cardinal, they turn it around. And here's where they're dangerous on the break, but just a mistimed pass. Bynum, team leader in minutes, part of Nardo in Norway, 2nd division. It's the 3rd tier in Norway. And will shepherd that ball out. He's been very strong in the middle for the Anteaters.
Team leader in minutes as a freshman coming into this.
6'3" center back. It's really him in the center back position. And then up top, Yamaguchi. 2 really strong pillars in the center of the pitch. Nice in run. Abrahamian. Buda takes it away, but there was a foul called against the Cardinal. You saw how dangerous Andrew Abrahamian can be. His 5th year here at Stanford. He was a member of the 2017 national champion team, redshirting that season.
Won that College Cup just 20 minutes from his hometown.
3 in a row for the men of Stanford. The women, 3 championships. 11, 17, and 19. Stadium. Now, we've got a little bit of a bias, but it was the center of college soccer in the 2010s. And Stanford has just dominated possession in this second half, and I would guess, I don't know, what would you say, 65-35 for the match?
I'd lean towards around that ratio. And again, I was never really great at math, but sounds about right.
I just appreciate you agreeing with me, Troy. Thanks for that.
Teamwork.
Well, Stanford did not make their first change to about the 35th minute of the first half. It was Gabe Siegel going into the match, and he will be the first change of the second half. Gabe, the only change in the lineup was Gabe not starting tonight. 12 goals in 42 matches at Stanford. 6 goals last year. He didn't come off the bench once last year. This is his 3rd appearance off the bench this season. Like a bolt of lightning. Kadu. Oh, what a covering tackle. Keegan Hughes. The 2nd most minutes for Stanford last season. Captain of the Columbus Crew Academy teams that he played on.
And after that ball was cleared away, Hughes went over to Adnan, and Adnan gave him a high five. Rightfully so. That was a heck of a play.
Fisher. Buda. Oh, what movement. Ryan on his left foot. Fruiter denies Stanford again.
And that was beautifully set up. Buda, with several options, decided to take it back across the goal mouth, and Ryan with basically a one-on-one look at the keeper. But Fruiter rising to the challenge.
28 career goals for Zach Ryan in 55 starts, fifth-year senior. He was Pac-12 Player of the Year for the first and potentially only spring season, although they have talked about splitting this men's soccer season into fall and spring. And I talked to Jeremy Gunn about it last year. He was all about it. Fisher, header. Hooters right there. It's probably the easiest of his now 10 saves.
Yeah, the so-called 21st century model, splitting up the season into the fall, into the spring, and making it a bit easier for coaches to actually coach and teach and develop, which are things that they generally cannot do during the course of the season because it's such a sprint.
Pac-12 play a little bit different this year, Thursday, Sunday.
And so not a whole lot of teaching can be done, which is potentially especially detrimental, especially towards the young players. I mean, look, you're fresh on campus, you're trying to find your classrooms, and you might not necessarily be getting the teaching that you might necessarily need until the spring season. But 21st century model very much in the mix, and NCAA is slated to vote on that in April.
I think I speak on behalf of not just college soccer fans, but soccer fans in the United States. I think that would be an excellent change, because these 2 matches in a week, every week, it just nobody does it. And the teams that do it in professional soccer, they have these giant rosters, constant squad rotation.
Yep. So during a college season, it's not about teaching and development. Your weeks are more about maintenance and recovery.
Yeah, it's survival, really.
Yeah.
Alvarenga.
I believe I see Pac-12 Deputy Commissioner Jamie Zaninovich in the building.
Yes, that is. I thought that was Jamie. Former commissioner of the WCC.
So he might have some thoughts on that. He's looking forward to hoop season. I know that for a fact.
Excellent job of the WCC and has done a great job here with the Pac-12.
And a Stanford guy as well.
Well, 10. Over the top line, Ricardo Ibarra. Bellarmine College Prep, San Jose. This is his home area. The Cardinal, there's 50 balls. Stanford doesn't lose too many of them. Irvine. He played professionally in that 3rd tier in Norway. Boateng.
Heads up.
Towards the Forest, which is just chock full of student athletes. A lot of members of various Stanford teams enjoying the match, rooting on their friends and fellow classmates.
Someone brought some drums. Tomorrow's megaphone night, I believe, here at Kagan Stadium. I'm not sure exactly the number. The first bunch of fans get megaphones.
Come early if you're watching this at home. You're coming out to the match against Utah on the women's side. Data looking for Yamaguchi. Beautiful job coming back by Will Richmond.
Yeah, and Stanford just looks quicker to the ball on this end of the pitch.
Alvarenga, Galaxy product. A lot of great LA Galaxy youth products out there. Put out in front, and again, Columbus Crew products. It's the center back Hughes who puts it out of play.
I believe that was Adler on the attack for the Anteaters there, and he just turned it up another gear and got a couple steps on Abrahamian.
Now, the dream for someone like Keegan Hughes is to play in Major League Soccer. Play for the Columbus Crew, won MLS Cup last year, and they just opened up their new downtown stadium. I was there for the first match, and the gems in the United States. I think the U.S. national team will play in a World Cup qualifier there as well. Wide open, lefty shot, and coming off of his line, Matt Frank denies Boateng on what was a clean 1v1.
Well, that was a gamble by Frank. Granted, he had 4 guys behind him on the line to try to clean it up, but big time stop by Matt Frank.
Frank, a fourth-year junior, never won a national championship with Nico Cordy as the goalkeeper, who was the second-choice keeper for 4 years. Not unheard of. Buddha on to Richmond. Overlapping run. Out in front, Ryan just wide, and he wants that one back. You saw his reaction. Zach has scored 28 goals here at Stanford, and he had 29 on his foot.
Picture perfect service. Richmond really showing some things in the second half and becoming an even bigger and bigger problem for UCI going forward. And Zach Ryan, no matter how this match ends up tonight, he's going to be dreaming about that one and thinking about it for the rest of the evening.
Well, the great goal scorers like Zach Ryan, they just crave moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just wide. He had Pruder beat.
Well, and again, it's a good illustration of what hasn't exactly gone Stanford's way of late. The margins are so small, and Stanford has found ways to get the margins to work in their favor for the more often than not over the past 6 years or so, especially.
Yeah, I do think the silver lining to this the rough streak that Stanford had, we're 6 matches in. There's lots of time left.
Right.
The Cardinal, they have been the class of the Pac-12. They have won national championship. They've gone to college cups so many times of late that there's no panic in this team.
Well, and even this is the first time that Stanford is unranked since 2018. Even in that season, they still made it to the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament. So a lot of ball left to play.
Stanford still won the Pac-12 championship that year as well.
Yep.
Richmond has been so strong as a left midfielder. Here's Buddha. So dangerous. Oh! Buddha, his right foot in front. Ryan Richmond! 2-0 Cardinal.
Well, and congratulations to Will Richmond, because he has been working super hard to try to add on to the Cardinals' lead. Off of the foot of Ryan, who couldn't quite get the clean hit on it, but Richmond in the right place at the right time, knocks it through and makes it 2-0 for Stanford. Well done.
9th career goal for Will Richmond. And, well, we're mentioning it, there's some staff members of San Jose Earthquakes in attendance, and they got to see one of their own, Will Richmond, the first team All-Leaguer last year out of Piedmont High School in the East Bay. Give Stanford potentially the decisive goal in this match. You kind of, before you talk about that goal, you have to talk about Boateng having that 1v1 with Frank, who came off of his line, made the save, and that might have been the moment of the match for Stanford if they can hold on.
Yeah, big swing. Just a matter of a couple of minutes.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I don't think Stanford is happy with 2. I think they're going to be pushing for a 3rd. There's going to be no sitting back from the Cardinal here. Silly. And Cam is called for a foul there. I think Lucas Brooks, the ref, a couple words for him. Settle it down a little bit. Logan Purchase has come in for Zach Ryan. Aiden Weaver just came in for the Cardinal as well. Now he's playing the position where Richmond was, left midfield. Stanford operating out of this flat 4-4-2. The pressure on the ball. The first time, though, tonight, they're kind of sitting back a little bit.
Now they're bringing it up.
Well, there was a big moment in the first half where UC Irvine started to take over control, and Zach Ryan, one of the leaders of the Stanford team, the forward, started yelling, "We're getting stretched," and for the team to have a better shape. Montanil. Again, it is swept away in the middle by Adnan in the left center back position. 21 shots for Stanford. Cardinal had struggled scoring-wise. They've produced a lot of chances so far this season.
And Jeremy Gunn made sure to say, look, I don't want to lose sight. I don't want the players to lose sight of the great things that they are doing. But that being said, just need to find an extra moment or two, defensively and in the attack.
Stanford did score 4 at UOP. They had 4 against Bakersfield, but that was an exhibition match here at Kagan Stadium.
Roadrunners had no answer for Buddha that evening.
Long ball onto the head of Weaver. But no issues for Pruder. If it weren't for Pruder, the dual national, who's part of the Galaxy Academy, Stanford could have 3 or 4 easy.
Yep.
He has made some fantastic saves.
11 of them, matter of fact, at this point.
Cardinal are okay with Irvine having this possession, just kind of holding it back.
Pruder also getting some help from the crossbar in the 8th minute. Off the foot of Zach Ryan.
Trying to find a Weaver, a little bit smaller of a striker for this Cardinal team. Stanford's crossed a little bit too high for Aiden. 5'7" from Pennsylvania. You compare that, he replaced Zach Ryan, who's 6 feet. Orozco. And Metzler in as well for the UC Irvine Anteaters. Stanford and UC Irvine have met 11 times, 10 wins for Stanford. He was off. Purchase. But they've met a lot in the NCAA tournament. 2014 match that we talked about. That was Stanford's second ever Pac-12 championship, their first in 13 years. Jordan Morris was on that team. It was a loaded Stanford roster, and UC Irvine came up and shocked the Cardinal. Corey Baird, one player in MLS, was part of that team as well.
4 years later, UC Irvine back here in the NCAA tournament. Did not get the win. Stanford moved on to the quarters, but lost to Akron.
Great job by Frank to pick that one out of the air.
Looked like Bryson Tremaine on that one.
Another time, Stanford, under their old head coach, Brett Simon, 2009, I remember they beat UC Irvine down in Irvine. Very fun Stanford team in 2009. Bobby Warshaw, who played professionally for a while. Adam John, who is a long, long time professional as well. Another great forward in Stanford history. Hughes plays back, and Frank sweeps it away. No reason to play it short. No reason to get fancy with it with the 72nd minute just starting and Stanford up 2-0.
Substitution, Mario Anaya in the match. Facing Chata.
Advantage was played. So the Stanford players, a little bit, a few of them, including Silly, were a little frustrated there because it's not the first time that the advantage has been played and then the pass, and then Lucas Brooks has taken it back to the spot of the original foul. So UC Irvine cannot waste any chances like this. See, they target think Boateng might be the target. Sacramento Republic. Youth product.
6'2".
Played with the U20s.
Adler as well.
Is up towards Boateng. And the Cardinal, nice job by Purchase. Try to head that one away. 2 goals from Stanford. One in the first half, one in the second. Ibrahim and Richmond, the goal scorers. Too much weight on that from Montanillo, Francesco. Substitution for Stanford. Zach Ryan will come in.
He probably told Jeremy, look, I'm real close to scoring, man. Let me back in. I want a piece of this.
The captain's armband. 5th-year senior, the Pac-12 Player of the Year during the spring 2021 year. It is interesting. There were kind of different levels of college soccer last year. There were some conferences that did play fall matches.
Yep.
NCAA championship in the spring. Stanford was at one extreme, Santa Clara County. You could not play sports here for a long time. The fact that Stanford had the year that they had last year is absolutely incredible.
Something that Jeremy Gunn is very thankful for as Jake Means comes into the match. He wasn't very optimistic about them being able to play at all. Everything fell into place just enough. Stanford in the Pac-12 able to have a season last year.
The Big West, the conference that is almost all California public schools, decided not to have a season.
Yep.
That was the extreme. You know, the ACC played a bunch of matches, the SEC matches in the fall.
Hey, it just means more back there.
It's behind Logan Purchase, really talented forward that Jeremy Gunn's excited about up off the bench for Stanford. Ryan with some space, looking to turn, looking to spring. Weaver onto his right foot, and a one-footed save from this masterful goalkeeper, Luke Bruder again. How many ridiculous saves is he going to make?
Well, and he almost had to make another one as Leighton Purchase. If he'd been able to get a clean foot on the rebound, that would have been big-time trouble for UCI.
Luke, he grew up in Kilkenny, Ireland, part of the LA Galaxy Academy.
That being said, what a gorgeous ball by Zach Ryan to set that whole thing up. Quick decision, the vision, finding a teammate and setting up a perfect scoring opportunity.
Saw the speed of Weaver as a swing and a miss on the volley attempt, and Ryan is fouled.
Depending upon whom you ask, UCI bench sees it differently.
Axel Adler, swing and a miss for him from Hong Kong. Went to the French International School in Hong Kong.
Family born in London, grew up in Hong Kong, and he started playing soccer there. He was very quick to note when he came to this side of the planet, United States soccer is a bit more physical over here.
Adler, great major for him, international studies.
I think my major here was NHL 95.
Header! The frustration from Logan Purchase. It's funny you mentioned that, though, Troy. Did you check out all of the Christian Bonfossa is normally a starting forward? Did you see his major?
I did not.
It is a computer game science.
Huh.
So maybe he is literally majoring in NHL 95.
Huh, how about that? See, where was this kind of stuff when I was in school?
I don't know, maybe they had like Tetris.
They had Pong back in my day. I'm old, man.
NHL 9, that was one of my first video games, 94, 95.
Jeremy Roenick was unstoppable.
Eric Lindros. Now, all these kids, when NHL 95 came out, I say kids, all these student athletes, they were like 4 or 5 years from being born.
Thanks. I appreciate you pointing that out.
Yeah, I played that one too. Silly. In that middle for Stanford is a long ball from Tingy, and the foul goes against the Cardinal. And never fun. Purchase ends up on the grass and called for the foul.
Yep. You mentioned Christian Bonflaja, the senior from Laguna Niguel. I remember his sister, Dominique, played for the Washington Huskies, and his other sister, Noelle, currently over in Berkeley with Neil McGuire and his crew. Even a bit chippy out there.
Yeah, and that was a time-wasting measure, and that is a yellow card for Weaver. Now, that's about the softest yellow card you'll see in your entire life, because he was just kind of kicking the ball. But they will stop the clock, and I agree with you, Troy. There's been some time-wasting maneuvers from the Cardinal. But I do stand by my statement. That is probably the softest yellow card I've ever seen.
Ever?
Now you're putting me on the spot. I have watched a lot of soccer.
Yes, you have.
I love watching this beautiful game, and come out to Kagan tomorrow. You're in the area, Stanford and Utah. Our old friend Hideki, the longtime associate head coach for Paul Ratcliffe, the new coach for Utah. And the Stanford fans can cheer from every single match but tomorrow.
That game, if you can't make Kagan, is on the Pac-12 network. We'll see you back here on the Pac-12 Insider, or on Pac-12 Insider, I should say, when Stanford men's soccer hosts St. Mary's on Monday evening.
It is also just so fascinating to me. Paul Ratcliffe, Jeremy Gunn, two of the most successful coaches in their sports. Paul Ratcliffe is one of the most successful coaches in the NCAA, regardless of the sports, but just the totally different philosophies of how these two teams play. But it goes to show you can win a lot of different ways playing this sport.
And that being said, there is complete and total synergy between those two programs. When one program is doing fantastic things, which is usually the case, they've got the full backing of the other, and vice versa.
Keegan Tingy, getting him in the 11 is so huge for Stanford, one of the best lefts in the country.
Yep.
Hughes. Tingy. Weaver. Nice, pretty good dribbler. Tingy. Dangerous ball. See, Irvine sweeps it away, but there is Noah Adnan. Beautiful tackle. Weaver is one of the quicker players that you will see. Ryan was trying to put it on his left foot. Have a go from distance. Hughes is wide. That was deflected by Fisher, but it'll be a corner for Stanford.
Yeah, Bruder got a couple fingertips on it, and relatively lucky that that ball didn't fall to Fisher off the deflection.
Well, Irvine, when they struggled after the start of this match, they were just letting Stanford, especially in the midfield, just have the ball. Not really putting much pressure, and I think Irvine has run out of gas. They look very tired out there. But changes for Stanford. Tingy will come out, as will Silly. Cardinal bringing out it. Connor Maurer looks he'll take the left back position. Mark Fisher re-enters. Headed just wide. Adnan put some power on that.
Adnan's got the size you like, 6'2", 180 pounds, to be effective on set pieces.
He is a really impressive center back.
He and Hughes are not to be trifled with.
Ryan wide. It's just not Zach Ryan's night.
Well, I think he was a little bit impatient there, and maybe he sensed the window closing with a couple of pinstripe shirts converging on him, but might have been a bit perhaps better suited, maybe trying to take that one a bit more direct towards goal instead of just letting it go. That said, fantastic pressure by Weaver.
Had some weird spin on that ball, too, that Ryan tried to hit. Bauer plays it safe. I'm really curious. Stanford and UC Irvine. Cardinal have dropped just one match, but for Ryan, officially right now, for 4 shots. Buda with 5 shots tonight. Stanford as a team with 25 shots. That is easily the most in a match this year for the Cardinal. Movement. And that got caught in the feet of that Anteater, and just a little bit of bad luck there.
Boy, Jenkins had it all set up, and then on the rebound, had it blocked. That one was up on a platter for him. Like another chance here.
That was off the arm of Adnan. He was for the ball. The hand was right on his side, and there was a deflected header right near him. So that was not really any chance that was going to be called a handball. Didn't react ball at all as well. Weaver looking spring Ryan. Ryan thought he might have had a goal in the first half, but was called offsides. The 1v1 with Pruder.
Hit the crossbar in the 8th minute. Had a couple of other great looks as well.
2-0, Stanford leads Irvine, 84th minute.
But that's just how this sport works.
Stanford with 25 shots. They've had some great movements, some tremendous combination play. Boniflasa, the match. Ibarra. Boniflasa into the mixer. And that is a foul. That is dangerous. It looks like Matt Frank's okay. That was a little dangerous moment.
And Neumetzler, I believe, came crashing in.
Frank, 2019, he did have a shutout win against Irvine. He saved 81% of his shots this year. Frank, member of the New York Red Bulls Academy. Stanford had an excellent center midfielder, started all 4 years. Jared Gilby, who was Red Bulls Academy member. They've produced some really good players. Tyler Adams, the best. Idea from Weaver. Ryan, a little late there.
Yeah.
I think an excellent idea by Aiden. Well, Stanford will make a couple more substitutions. Ryan Ludwig will come in to play left center left center back. As Noah Adnan gets a well-deserved 5-minute break here.
Meanwhile, Ludwig on the pitch for his first action since San Jose State, back on the 11th.
Gastinelli comes back in. Carlo got a start tonight. In Paris, grew up in London, trials with PSG and Spurs. Started this match as the right midfielder. All right, from our vantage point, didn't look like the ball went out right there, but it did. Maurer, little touch there. Stanford again playing it safe. Cardinal not trying to build up an attack here. less than 5 minutes left. Trying to play it safe. Take time off the clock. Hughes. Ludwig. Really strong center back for the Cardinal. Hasn't been able to crack the lineup. Weaver, that ball did go out.
Yep.
Anteaters trying to put it in quickly. A couple balls on the field, not allowed.
Late foul on Fisher.
3.5 minutes left. Stanford on their way to win number 3 of the season. Some good vibes after being swept. The Southern California schools, UCLA and San Diego State, in Pac-12 men's soccer. 5 Pac-12 teams in the conference, then San Diego State, an associate member of the men's soccer conference.
The Anteaters appearing to be heading to a 2-6-1 record now. Within that, losses at 5th-ranked Georgetown to start the season, and another loss at 15th-ranked LMU. In fact, 6 teams in their schedule this year that made the NCAA tournament within the last 2 seasons. So this is it's a tough slate. Maybe an easier slate might have a different result in the win-loss column.
Weaver looking to turn, sets it up, and it's deflected out of play.
Yeah, Bonflaja saved that one. And a good idea, as if you don't have a clean shot on it and your back's to goal, perhaps leave it to an onrushing teammate to unleash. Good idea, but Bonflaja in the right place at the right time.
One of the other issues for Irvine, for instance, a midfielder, Mario Anaya, who is another Earthquake product, but came on campus in 2019. He redshirted his first year. No matches last year because of COVID-19, and finally gets some matches. Ball's loose in front of the net. That one pretty clearly, I thought, hit the hands of that Anteater forward, Bonflaja.
Yep.
Computer game science major.
Must have had the cheat button on that one.
What to say, they got the referee's malfunctioning maybe. Ball did not play the hand. He put his hand down to try to kind of gather himself and hit the ball. Put back into the mixer. Misplayed. And there was a foul called away from the ball, it looked like.
At the top of the box where a couple of players went down to the turf, and the foul called against the Cardinal.
Here's Bonflaja.
There's 1 minute remaining in this.
Minute left in the match. Very good feelings, I think, in this Stanford locker room after this one. 26 shots. And unofficially 14 of them on target. Well, that was late, and Lucas Brooks in the middle, rightly kind of giving everyone the calm down motion. 30 seconds left in the match. No reason for anybody to really get too animated. Now,